Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/slash Tales from Tech Support. In today's episode, sometimes simple solutions are the best. Where is the laptop? Why is the Wi-Fi beeping? User thinks I'm with the FBI. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Sometimes simple solutions are the best. Long ago, in galaxy far, far away, I worked for computer company as a field tech and tier 1 support for customers by phone if needed. My company had sold a system to a smallish college in a medium-sized city in a neighboring state. I had never been to this site, I didn't even know it existed. This system was a small System V Unix type running on a small Motorola RISC system, at least I think that's what it was. A handful of dumb terminals and printers were connected with RS-232 serial connections, and system backups were done on a QIC-60 external SCSI tape drive. Problem was, their backups were failing. I forget the exact error, I think there was a script that called bio and dumped to the tape device. Anyway, the support guys had sent out a replacement tape drive, and the customer was reporting the same problem, so they asked me to go on site and see if I could fix it. I figured I could either fly or drive would be about 5 hours. Flying would take longer since there were no direct flights, I had to fly past the city to the nearest hub, then fly back. No thanks, I'd drive. So, I called the customer, got directions, scheduled the trip, and drove out the next day. It was fairly late by the time I got there, but I knew I was spending the night anyway, so I had them show what happened. Yes, they would stick a tape in the drive, kick off the script, and more than half the time it would fail. They had tried different tapes, all the stuff the help desk had asked them to try. The folks at the site were getting ready to go home, but I could stay since the door would lock behind me when I left, back in those innocent days. I played around with different tapes for a while trying to see if there was a common thread to the failures, but couldn't find one. Sometimes a tape would fail on the first try, and work on if I tried again. The original tape drive was still there, so I tried it and got similar results. They had different brands of tapes I could try, but it didn't make a difference. I was really scratching my head. However, I'd been doing this type of work for a while. In my college days I had worked in a stereo/electronics shop doing repairs and sales. I was remembering that sometimes folks would have trouble with an audio cassette. You would fast forward it, then rewind it, and it would play normally. Same thing could happen on VCRs. I had never worked with a QIC-60 device before, and I was not very familiar with Unix at this time. But there was a manual with the system, so I found the section on tape device commands, and there was a tape command with a retention option. I have forgotten the actual syntax over the years, but I tried it out on one of the problem tapes, and the backup script ran fine. Tried a couple of more tapes, and they all worked. So, I just edited the script to add the retention step, gave it one more test, which worked, and headed off to dinner. I told the help desk folks what I'd found, and they added the step to the script they supplied to other sites. This was one of the first customer to have this particular hardware, and apparently they had not seen this before. Where is the laptop? Some background: I used to work help desk support remotely for a big pizza company when I was in college. Really, it just required me to be on the phone all day, and do basic troubleshooting. One day the phone rings, and I pick up. A user was asking for the password to a laptop my company gives out to all their employees. I told the user the password should be their email password. They replied back that it wasn't their laptop, it was one of their students, and they found the phone number under the computer. My follow-up question was where the student in question was. In my mind I thought maybe the company recycles old laptops or sold them off. The teacher responded that the student was in a school district located 10 states away from the company. I asked them to read me off the serial number on the back of the laptop so I could report it to my supervisor and see if it was still active. There have been a few cases within the company of computers being stolen from company employees, and if this was the case, we needed to lock the computer ASAP. I kept the teacher on the phone and thanked them for their patience, and I pinged my supervisor. My supervisor was able to pull a name that the laptop was assigned to and noted the laptop was still active. I wrote down the teacher's phone number and name and noted I would have to call them back. This was done because Teams and the phone software we use works horribly together. I hung up the phone and called the owner of the company laptop on Teams. I asked 2 basic questions: do you know where your laptop is, and do you have a child who goes to XXX school? Their response was a mixture of laughter and relief, stating that the child's father mixed up the laptops, and that they would have to call the teacher now. I told my supervisor the computer was not stolen, and that ended there. Why is the Wi-Fi beeping? Wait, what? Anyways, I remembered a tale from a time past at the complicated computering complex TM. For background radiation, this company has a nuclear materials lab for training, testing, evaluation, experiments, etc. Cast and crew. Radioactive lady makes a confusing request, was not glowing. $Steve FNG that sleeps on the job now. $me Maverick go getter. It's a slow day in the office. I'm reading up on the latest security threats, being responsible with VMware resources, wondering what new madness will befall upon us, the usual, etc. Ding. A ticket. $RL why is the Wi-Fi beeping? It's rather annoying in the last training group we had. $me what? I had recently learned about coil wine, but these APs are built to the most rigorous of industrial standards, Cisco, and after deploying 200 of them, they don't beep. Let's go have a look, Steve. So we roll up in the Fledermaus Mobile, oversized black golf cart, and find out her lab is much harder to locate than previously thought. The important missing detail was going left past the snake pit, and Steve nearly got bitten again. Anyways, we found it, and $RL meets us, and opens up the lab, and being that my hearing is similar to that of a bat/dog, I am inundated with the high-pitched screech of some instrument that is definitely not an AP. What's that thing? Points to a shrieking yellow box. $RLO, that's our other Geiger counter in OP. It has a dead battery. Click. Silence deafens the room. Steve asks what samples they had on hand. I don't know why. After looking at him sideways after that question, and then closing up the lab, we did see that the room acoustics of the lab plus material storage and coat closet had the noise bouncing around, which did sound like it was coming from above. So the concern for the newly minted NRRT, Networking Radioactive Response Team, was valid, but the AP was outside the closet and visibly not beeping. User thinks I'm with the FBI. Okay, so the title might be a little exaggerated, but this week I was called by one of our most impatient users who wanted me to track down a random person via their cell phone. She just insisted I can somehow do this to a point where it was difficult to even respond. We were like 5 seconds into the call, I barely understood who's on the phone, and she was already reading out this phone number at full speed, faster than I could type or even realize what this is. I told her to slow down, and she explained that this number has been calling her work phone, and she wants to know who this is and make them stop, her words LOL. She obviously answered the phone. According to her, no one was there / it hung up instantly. Yeah, I can see how that is annoying. That's all good, except for the fact that I have absolutely no system that could look this up. I don't even think this is possible for private individuals and companies without help from the ISP or some court order or something. She was just seriously overestimating our abilities and kept asking for the unknown caller's name. I said if it's not one of ours, company provided mobile, I can't even find it and can't do anything with this random phone number. I can Google it and hope it's known spam, look at the menus on the phone and walk her through blocking this number, but no. She kept interrupting me, demanded. I tell her who this is, so in her mind I just type this in, and up comes the name and address of the caller. I wasn't even done explaining how I don't have this info when she hung up, probably angry that I didn't help her because I'm so lazy and incompetent. Well, uneasy face.